Half of Steve, he's at a convention at the Dells. Vice Chair, I'll take over and we'll start our meeting Tuesday, July 3rd, 2 p.m. Call the meeting to order and I'll ask for a roll call.
Right, Steve Warndall, John Bonfries,
Here.
Doug Rowdy,
Here.
Jay Lou,
Here.
Jeremy Hall is 3 out of 5 present.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. And approve the agenda as presented. Call for approval.
Make a motion to approve it. Second.
Motion by Route Jay and seconded by Doug and all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of the May 6th meeting.
I'll second that.
And motion made and seconded, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Carried. Any public comment? Gentlemen, nobody? Thanks for sticking around, you guys. Number 7. I'll turn that over to Chair. Administrator. Got it, number 7.
Got a
Anybody?
volunteer.
Rod Polk, take that one.
Oh, okay. Excuse me.
Grandstands are out for bid. Was gonna close this Thursday, but one of the bidders, asked for a 1-week extension, so they're gonna put that out to everybody that it's gonna close now on the 12th. So they'll look to do the bid opening the following week. We had a, maintenance day and a half down at the fairgrounds, fixing leak strips and airs and everything down there before the fair. The rabbit barn, they got the metal delivered. They're gonna be working on that in the next couple weeks, getting that roof replaced. And that's my update for the fair.
Do you have an idea how many bids we do have? Or?
It's not, they don't have any yet. It's not closed yet. So that, I know they were working with 2 different, Dan Clayton and then GT Grandstands, or 2 of the bigger companies that were planning on bidding on it, but no one has turned anything in yet.
We were calling for an all aluminum.
We actually asked for it a couple different ways if they wanted to bid that way. Some with a steel and then some with aluminum platform.
Isn't there a lot of, I've seen some fabricated or, plastic strands and
I don't think, not to that scale, not that I've seen anyway, not with what makes it a grandstand as opposed to a bleacher is the roofing and the covering over it. So I haven't seen anything plastic.
it's gonna be open. We don't, we're,
Open, but there will be a roof over it.
there is planning on being a roof over the grandstand now?
Yes.
Really?
Mhm.
Okay, well, thanks for the update and I hope we do well on the bids.
Yeah, and we're not, that isn't gonna be erected for this year's fair.
Correct.
That'll hopefully be this fall.
We'll
or
have a
next
rental
spring.
for this year yet.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for your update. Number 8, update on the CCC. Sheriff, what?
This last month, we had 8 participants in treatment court with 1 referral in process. We're planning on our next graduation to be in the fall. In our intoxicated driver intervention program, we had 4 participants with 1 graduation. Our substance diversion, we had 2 participants who are still working through the program, no graduations on that. Our first time offender class, we had 5 graduations last month with 2 new referrals, and our class will be held again next week. Last time I was here, we talked about MRT getting started up in the jail.
Mhm.
That's up and running. We are at max capacity with our participants, and we have a wait list now of people who would like to participate. So we're waiting on kind of that to people to graduate out of it or be released into the community. We were able to start up our men's program for MRT that will start this Thursday. And our hope is to be able to take those who are released from jail and have them continue the program in the community. It will also be open to anyone in Polk County. We're starting on Thursday and we have enough referrals to begin. So we're very excited about that.
We certainly deserve a big thanks. It seems to be the big thing in our society is we don't have enough rehabilitation. You know, if you talk to the attorneys and the judges, it's such a recurrence and repetition, and now in Polk County, we can be proud of that. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you much.
Mr. Vice Chair, could I add one thing to that comment?
Yes,
So today we posted the position of coordinator for diversion programs.
Yeah.
It will replace the CJCC coordinator position that Melissa Stillen held for a number of years. So we're looking forward to getting great applicants for that new position.
thank you much. Thanks, Don. Madam Clerk, did you you have the numbers that she read out? Do they stay in our
Yes, I
in our
do.
minutes?
Yep.
Thank you, appreciate that. Number 9, update from Public Works.
Recycling, we are down to the parking lot and landscaping. I'm being told that Paul Brightson should be on site by the end of the week, but they were also supposed to be there last week and didn't show up, so I'm not holding my breath there. We have several leaks in the roof that they're addressing. Obviously, it only leaks when it rains, so we have narrowed down, so. Clam Falls, the actuators are back ordered again. So we don't have an actual date of when they're supposed to arrive with everything. But I do have training tomorrow for a 360, the electronic portion of that. So I'll be able to monitor the actual level of the lake and where we're at. I don't have cameras. I don't have the ability to adjust gates or anything. The only thing I'll have is be able to see trends and be able to see what our current situation is up there. So I'll know if I should be driving
Satisfied
north.
with the progress and everything, the
Mhm.
quality.
Yep. Yeah, it's just it's not Lunda or Air's issue. It's a sub of a sub of a sub
Yeah,
on where we're having the issue on the back ordered parts pieces. Atlas Dam repair is going out for bids and they're due back by June 19th. And we'll be starting that project. And on the park side, we just finished grading the Gandy. And so that's about it for the big ticket items.
do we have a total cost on our Atlas project?
The Atlas project, it's out for bids now. We're hoping, I think we have 150,000 set aside for that. Is what we
Is
hear.
there, are we gonna have an open house or anything on Clam Falls when,
Wasn't planning on it, but we certainly could.
I think we certainly should. I mean, that's a multi-million-dollar project. I hope we can plan on something. I know, we're looking forward myself, and
Mhm.
I've had some people ask me that. People are sure appreciative that I did that project, because we all remember the Woodley Dam.
Was there a grant to go along with Atlas?
Atlas, there is not. The Clam Falls, we have quite a bit of that is grant related, but Atlas did not.
Yeah, Clam Falls, we never got into that legislature when they stepped up. Number 10, update on highway. Thanks you. Update.
You bet.
We got our big culverts in for up on over Summers Creek. We're gonna be replacing them this week. So we'll have a detour off a detour, I guess, but once some pipes are in, we can get rid of the load posting. Pipes for P are in that are load posted after the 6 to 20 program stuff came back. Gotta wait till the end of the month for the DNR to give us a permit. We're paving on E next week. That should just be 2 days. Should be out of there. And then double M got pushed back to end of the month, beginning of July. B is ongoing, obviously. We had 8 seasonals this year. So the rest of them should start next week. So they should be out the crack filler on the roads. I mean, every day with some on the projects. Our spraying got wrapped up a couple weeks ago on the ditches. Looks to be doing its job. Hope it continues, so we can keep doing that.
Do we have much scheduled, on like the state road highway 8 that is?
Nothing. There's no paving or, the only thing we're doing on the state is we're scrub sealing on 35 south from X to the county line, the end of July.
Okay.
That's the only thing on the state. Got a little bit of work on the concrete 35 and 8, just maintenance. But
What's scheduled now is just maintenance stuff.
yeah, next year there's several projects. We'll see if they stay in the program or not.
Stay in the hopper.
Yep.
Okay. Thanks for the update. Appreciate it. Number 11, Sheriff Walk. Man. Oh, this is something that different. There we go.
All right, I just handed out my press release. I'm kind of tight-lipped on it as far as I don't want to say much more than what's in the press release, just because it is an open investigation and there's likely criminal charges on it, so I don't want to jeopardize that, but we did have a deputy struck by an alleged intoxicated UTV operator on Sunday morning at 1:20 in the morning. Thankfully, the deputy and his canine partner were not injured. The car is in pretty rough shape. But like I say, I think that highlights really what law enforcement is like. You never know what your shift is going to bring upon you. And certainly at that time of night, we're out there looking for intoxicated drivers and whatnot, and we're sharing the roads with intoxicated drivers. So that does pose a risk, and I think this highlights the risk that we face. So.
Way to catch them.
What's that?
That's a poor way to catch them.
Well, they caught us in
Yeah.
this sense. So anyway, but just to talk further about kind of the crash situation in Polk County right now, we have had 5 fatals. And, you know, a couple weeks ago, we had a fatal at Highway 865. And I noticed a lot of the press comments were placing blame on Highway 65 as if there's some problem. And I always kind of take that personal because I drive on Highway 65 quite a bit, and I drive it very safely and very well. I do want to highlight that the operator of that vehicle who died when they ran through the stop sign there was legally drunk and high on methamphetamine. The intox results came back. So we can't blame the highway for a bad decision, and that was bad decisions. So I normally don't put out press releases on that, but I've had enough. I even had my state assembly rep get contacted over the problems with Highway 65. And, you know, our job as law enforcement, if we saw at the highway shop or at the sheriff's office level that there was an engineering problem there, we'd be the first to talk about it. I haven't seen an engineering issue cause any of these crashes in the last several years. It's been operator errors and it's been bad decisions. So that's all I have to say on that. But I specifically sought out the toxicology for this last one just because of all the negative press Highway 65 got. But it's not a highway issue, it's a human issue. So we'll work on enforcing impaired driving. That's one of our things we focus on anyway. Staffing wise, we have a retirement coming up this week. Captain Mike Stoffel is retiring after 32 plus years with the sheriff's office. Mike has been one of those guys that I've enjoyed working with. And he's the perfect example of what a deputy sheriff is. You know, he's always, I don't know if he's ever even used a sick day while he's been here in those 32 years. He's just one of those dependable, he's there every day and he's a hard worker. So he will be definitely missed. And we will be posting this week for his open position, and that will likely be filled with an internal candidate. So Don and I will move forward with that probably tomorrow. But he's got whoever gets that has big shoes to fill, because Mike has done an exemplary job and he's worked many avenues of the sheriff's office. Finally, I would just bring up that, do we know what the date in July is our next meeting will be? I know because of the 4th, sometimes we want to move meeting dates around. But I would point out, I would like to do the meeting at noon if we could and have the jail tour. We typically do that in July. So I'll leave that up for your next agenda item when you
I'll work on that.
on future agendas. But if we have it over at the community room, I provide the lunch. T-bones and lobster, right, from the jail. It's a good way, and it is a statutory requirement to have members of the county board come through the jail once a year. So that's a great time to do it. So we could work on that.
We've done that pretty much annually.
We do it annually. Yep. So July would be a great month for that. That's typically when we do it. Yes, Doug.
I don't know that if this is really a question, but at our previous meeting, then Officer Hahn said that he was talking about OWIs, and he said last year, I thought he said 3, but we're only to June 1st and they already have 6 this year.
Yes.
I just wanted to get that out to the group that they're really they're just increasing. And of course, your picture shows that.
Right. So I know a lot of people that partake in side-by-sides and UTVs, and they do it well. We have had a few accidents, and we don't want that reputation to get out there, and we don't want to spoil that sport. That's one of the biggest growing sports there is. So talking with Sergeant Hahn, we're going to step up our enforcement actions even further now to try to key on some of these problem UTVers. I mean, it only takes a few bad apples to spoil the whole pot of it. So
Always.
yep. But we're going to do our best, and we, the rec enforcement can be any deputy. Anytime we're driving around, we're on patrol. Whether it's a UTV we see, any of the deputies know how to process an OWI for that, and we take a lot of effort in enforcing all those rules. So we'll continue to do that.
In the UTV industry or whatever, recreation part of it has really done a lot to Polk County as far as our income.
Yeah, we have one of the major manufacturers in our county. So like I say, it's a great sport, but unfortunately the good ones don't make the headlines. It's always the bad ones. It's like that with everything. But just from an aspect of safety, we want to make sure we're staying on top of it. So we will reach out to our DNR partners as well and try to even coordinate maybe some saturation patrols if they're available. So we're going to work on that.
And thanks for your work, Doug.
All right, thank you.
I want to make a comment, Sheriff Walkabout. I appreciate your stance on Highway 65, as the trouble that we've had is human error.
The majority of it is, absolutely.
I was at all the state meetings and highway meetings and everything. I was talking Highway 65 for 20 years, and we'd like to see, some improvement on some of the hills and some of the physical things. But we were just lucky to get the money to redo the service and that. And it's just a beautiful road, and if everybody is safe, it's an awesome improvement.
Well, I like the curves and valleys. That's why I don't live in the Dakotas. I live in Wisconsin, so we have some scenery, right?
Amen to that. Thanks again, Sheriff Walk. Number 12, Administrator Norby.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Just a couple things we're working on right now. Coming to general government and the county board in June will be our borrowing resolutions that were part of the process of passing the 2025 budget. So that's just a process that we do once we know whether we're bonding or borrowing, that we come back to the committee and the board with the bonding resolutions. on
We do
those.
have the best bonding rating that we can get, isn't it?
We just got our rating back from Moody's. It is AA2. From that, which is a very good rating. The council we're working with was very impressed by that. So some of the factors that go into that we don't have control over, which gave us an A rating for that component, was economic growth metric, and that's the growth of Polk County with that. So we don't have a lot of control over that one. The also one is noted as our institutional framework. When they look at that, we got an A rating on that only. And that's due to our levy cap that we're under right now, that we're restricted from growing on that. So those are things out of our controls. But our rating is a AA2. With that, we had, our value per capita was a AAA rating. Our long-term liabilities ratio was AAA. Our fixed cost to ratio was a AAA. So we're looking very good that way. So,
Thank you for those details.
yep, we'll get a good rate on that. Then along with that, sales tax, we continue to monitor as always. Still up 5.9% from 2024 through May. So we're very, I'm not gonna say restrictive. We're very cautious on raising our sale tax projection for 2026, as three out of the 5 months are lower than last year. So we'll see how that pans out for the rest of the year, but that's one we're keeping an eye on as we move through the budget process. And that's all I have for my report. Talk a little bit more on number 14.
Thanks for that update. 13, Doug, you guys were at a nice turnout today. You wanna bring us up to date now?
We did. The first thing I have is that I was given a ride by Mark. His name's Mark. I can't remember his last name. Melvin probably knows, but he's the club member that grades the roads out there, the trails. And he's also grading the intensive use park. So there's 2 trails on the intensive use, and one is what do you call it, Rod? You got the ride where you can just ride around.
Oh, where the obstacle course?
Yeah, the obstacle course. Then they don't do that, but there is a trail all the way around the rest of the loop, and they're gonna keep that maintained.
How's that obstacle course working out? Is there a lot of participants?
There is a lot of use up there.
They like to challenge?
Mhm. Yep, and there are some maintenance things that we have to do. I know we have a log out of place right now and another loose one on one of the obstacles, so. But yeah, for the most part, there's
Is
a lot
that
of use.
maintenance on the Gandy Tanzer Trail? Is that,
That was just grading and blowing leaves, and then we had some clumps and everything once we graded that we had to get rid of.
so that's going well?
Mhm.
Thank you.
The other thing is the original loop, which they gave me a ride on, Melvin was with, and it was originally one way, starting from the kiosk, I think, going around. And then when they opened up the whole loop, then they made that one, they thought as you worked on it, that it could become 2-way. And now they're going back to the thought that there's some safety issues on the corners because you got people driving too fast and swinging out instead of staying right to the inside like they're supposed to. So they're gonna go back to a 1-way on that loop and see how that works out.
Mhm.
Because they talked about the whole thing being 1-way, but they're just gonna start with the original loop and see how that goes. And then the other comment, I didn't quite hear all of it, but the Amory bathroom that's right on the cattail should possibly open soon.
Yeah, we have to do a bunch of replacement of the toilets and sinks and everything, and we're doing that in-house. So hopefully in July or June, we can get that up before the 4th.
This is an open question. I don't know who this affects us. Did we submit an appeal to the appeal on the tower? Does anybody know?
That's already been filed. The appeal was already in, and we're waiting on a decision on the appeals court.
So we're up to date on that. Thank you.
That's all I really have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Dr. Don, do you have number 14, budget process?
I think that, that's our opportunity to talk about budget priorities for the committee. So in the past, might have contemplated road projects or building improvements, capital projects of those type. I don't know if Rod or Jason or the administrator want to comment on ideas for this coming budget year, but this would be the time to get those ideas out. Chair Warndall has been good about giving us little prods on that in years past. So this is an opportunity to, if there's any ideas about projects like that, to get them in front of everyone.
Yeah, it's an open question, and so anybody that can contribute,
Sure. Our main budget priority is to keep our levy stable. And
Exactly.
borrowing with our capital improvements on there. I know the highway commissioners at conference right now. I'm not sure if Justin's ready to speak on what they're looking at for 2026. But Rod has his priorities of what he's looking at for the public works side.
So on the public works side of things, these are gonna be solely based on the direction of this committee. So I have the HVAC and the controls for the Justice Center and Endeavors Building. I got updated bids for that, and it's 2.2 million to replace the boilers, the chillers, and all the controls in that building. And I know a lot of people have said to me, well, that building isn't that old. It's 24 years old. A lot of that stuff is past its life expectancy. So I don't want anyone to hip over when they see that come out in the budget process, but it's 2.2 million for that entire project.
boilers are always a shock when you see that dollar figure.
And the chiller is the high ticket item. That's 1.2 just for the chiller. So, and then the other high dollar item for the CIP for Public Works is we'd need 500,000 for recycling equipment for phase 3 if the recycling charge is taken away. So in addition to the additional funding for the 5 staff members down there, we'd need 500,000 for phase 3. So if the recycling charge is voted to be discontinued, so 5 staff positions and 500,000 is what my request would be for next year.
That original baler that we looked at,
Mhm.
and wasn't there a new one coming as soon
Yeah,
as it-
so we have a portion of that ordered already of all our equipment. There's like $400,000 worth of equipment on order. So this would be the next phase of.
That's currently covered under,
Mhm, correct, yes.
I thought it was.
So as we look at the capital improvement projects with the 2.2 and the 500K, the 500K is embedded currently with the special charge that was the pilot program. So moving forward, the special charge, the $35 would cover the cost of that equipment and the operations of the recycling center. Once the initial equipment is the original equipment that's in the recycling center that hasn't from the get-go gets replaced, naturally that fund's gonna build itself with that special charge. And with that special charge, once that's established and that fund's going, we have the ability then to lower those fees at the recycling center for Polk County residents that drop off mattresses and items down there. So as that becomes self-sufficient and the special charge stays, it relieves the levy cost of the manpower down there for the FTEs with that. So, and with the $2.2 million for that project, as we get our extra additional funding requests in and see the big picture there, then we work with Rod's team on that and finance to see how we can break that project up. Can we do it all in one phase? And what is our borrowing capacity to keep our levy stable and flat? So they're all kind of intertwined together, keep coming with a balanced budget. But as we move forward, we'll break that all out so it'll be on a slide so everyone can see how that works.
I think, really, I think that's a lot of good news, as we have vision of these projects. You know, we know there's that big initial cost. talking about the boilers and the chillers, you know, and yeah, we talk about age of these buildings, 24 years old, and well, everything needs maintenance. And we're looking at the use of the building today. I know there's a lot of comments on that. But I personally can't believe and understand why we are so destructive. You look at other parts of the country and the world and preservation and long time vision and everything and buildings and everything. And in our, been in the county 20 years and oh, we think if there isn't a use for that building, maybe we don't need it, maybe we destroy it or something like that. And I got a problem with that because there was an initial cost of building and anything we destroy, it comes at a cost. If we can preserve something, yeah, it costs money to do that part too, but we look at growth and everything, there's gonna be a need for the growth, and I think we should make sure we have enough vision on what we do.
And
It's just my comment.
And Mr. Chair, you know, that's part of our priorities with this, because with the funding needs, the sheriff is gonna need squad cars. There'll be a request for that. After we look through that, we've embedded in the public works budget money to help maintain these systems and not wait till they fail to fix them. So we have probably two large projects left to get away from the deferred maintenance cycles that we've been in. One of them is the HVAC for the Justice Center and updating that system. I think we have one more roof in the schedule too, which won't come in near as expensive as 2.2, but keeping on the borrowing schedule for our CIP projects will help prevent that large ticket item down the line that'll be a large expense. So we're on that track to maintain these buildings and keep them moving.
Like, like Jay, even the townships, we're putting something away like in a maintenance fund every year, for equipment and everything. And
Some towns do.
the ones with the good vision do. And maybe we don't isolate, I suppose, any particular maintenance per building, but maybe that should be a part of the vision that we have is have some part of a maintenance fund put away for
These are just the ones, the high ticket items.
yeah,
My budget is 220,000 for my maintenance of all the buildings.
yeah.
So the smaller 10 and 20 and $30,000, not your 20, but all the rest of them are, we fund through my budget. As we know that they're coming down the road.
We had to put that new boiler and everything at Golden Age and everything, and it was another, well, it got sold and redone and everything, and
You gotta remember how many years that old boiler was in there too.
yeah,
Since their conception.
it was a 1950 building
In
originally,
1950s, that boiler was put in too.
yeah,
And that lasted an awful long.
and
They don't make them like that anymore.
No, that's for sure.
there was never enough money put away for future maintenance.
And
Anyway,
that 250 was just added to that budget a couple of years ago to help defer that maintenance, to help complete that maintenance and not defer it. So that's where that 250 is valuable, that we don't have a $7.7 million project to upgrade a building because it's being kept up now.
I guess besides the vision, we should also look at some of the past and some of the history. And I've been on the board 20 years, and I was on 10 years, and I said that was enough, and let other people take over. And things got pretty disastrous there for about 10 years, about 8 years, and we lost our bond rating, and just about everything went wrong.
That was the problem.
So now the last 10, 12 years, we made just a tremendous amount of progress that everybody needs to have a Thanksgiving party. And enough of that, I guess. Are you all done, Don, as far as
That's
budget?
all I've got, sir, and the other comments.
Anybody else, anything on the budgets or? Nothing else from the highway?
We've got roads to fix.
And you're the one that faces probably the biggest amount of increase in expenditures, cause boy, your highway stuff gets more expensive.
It
The
does.
price of oil has leveled up this year now, hasn't it?
Yeah, the past couple of years, the mix has been consistent, but then trucking and everything goes up, so fuel, but
This last year was pretty much of a bonus for salt and all those expenses,
salt went up a little. I think it's gonna go up more. So, what is it? It's a bid year, so
Number 15, review and update of 2025 work plan.
Pretty full. We got the jail tour and stuff on it already.
Okay.
I don't see anything to add.
Yeah, I think that we've pretty much done that annually. We've ate with some folks and we've had a little update for us over there and you've taken good care of us, Sheriff Walk, and we appreciate that. So we'll be working on that. Looking forward to it. Subject matter next, probably won't be July 1st, but next meeting. Anything else that anybody can?
Should be July 1st, if that's the correct date. And we'll just have that at noon then and do the
At
jail.
noon at the community room, we could have that.
So we, as far as we know, we can tentatively July 1st.
Yes.
Got that down. Anybody got any other comments or? We've got the notice of your retirement. We appreciate that, Sheriff Watt, and motion for adjourn. You too.
Motion to adjourn.
Seconded by
You do something.
all in favor, say aye. Meeting adjourned.
Aye.
Thank you.